Welcome to Footium Live from the Metaverse studios, folks. The studios where only champions and promotees are allowed in at this current moment in time. I am your very similarly dressed to my guest host, Mozza, and I'm delighted
You look
to be
very nice.
joined, thank you very much, by that little voice you might hear at the side. Sam, welcome on in. How are we?
I'm very well, thank you. I am so excited to be in the Metaverse studios with you today.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it? It's really good. I am very, very excited to see what this place is going to be playing host to in the future. The future of Footium. We'll see what comes down the line. But for the moment, congratulations to your good self on coming back to the big time.
Oh yeah, they couldn't keep me out for long, could they? They wanted me back in Division 1, but yeah, tough season. I've got a lot of stick at the start, and to be honest, I actually think that Newcastle Hacksman's probably got too much media agenda against them because I only actually lost one game at the start of the season, but Footium Teletext was giving it big time headlines about tatters in Newcastle. So I think the image of Newcastle at the start of the season was probably wrongly portrayed by the media.
Could be worse. You could be getting all sorts of allegations from random accounts with faceless accounts claiming that you're guilty of all sorts of
I
match
do.
fixing.
That is my guilty pleasure, is reading I don't know if we're allowed to say it on this channel, but there is a Footium Gossip News page, which has had some very strange allegations against some managers. But yeah, guilty pleasure reading that.
They just come for the ones at the top. That's what it is. But we are here to have a quick look at what has just happened in the previous beta season. So, without further ado, shall we get into having a look at the news from not just the playoffs, but also the season as a whole?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, so actually, it's really interesting how I got my playoff opponents. I don't know if you saw, but Brommer Town versus Padley Villa, they had a real battle throughout the season. Obviously, I was keeping my eye on this division because I knew pretty soon with how Chris Smalling's team was playing that I was going to be in the playoffs. So I was keeping my eye on this one, and it was either going to be Brommer or Padley. Chinneford were third. They were kind of quite a way off, weren't they? Down 14 points, something below second place. And yeah, it actually went down to the last kick of the game. Padley Villa scored. Unreal scenes. And that actually sent Brommer to their second playoffs in successive seasons. So yeah, and they lost out to me, so they've had a bit of struggle in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's quite a gap there between the top two and the rest, so it must have been horrendous for Bromer. Just thinking you've done it and then just had it cruelly snatched away right at the death of the whole season.
Yeah, and that league, it is almost reminiscent of the English Premier League, really, isn't it? How you've got Liverpool and City at the top, and next place nowhere near. So hopefully, Chinneford can up their game a bit next season and maybe push for promotion. But realistically, Brommer Town are going to be out for vengeance.
I guess in this scenario, Mington Stanley would be your Manchester United slipping down the league, would they?
Painfully to say, but I agree. I do agree with you. Yes, hopefully up next season. But yeah, and I don't know if you saw Mozza, but Padley Villa, very good manager in Freak Lions, made a change in the 89th minute and scored the winner in the 90th minute. Unreal management.
Old school Fergie time right there, isn't it? Just instant gratification from a change. Some man.
Yeah, some man, Marlon Jacobs as well, went to a 3-5-2 attacking and definitely paid off. He knew he had to throw all the dice on the pitch there, and it worked out for him.
Brings us to a certain Newquay Rangers, as I call them. You can obviously give them their proper title here, Sam, but a very successful playoff run and a return back to the top flight.
Yeah, buzzing with the playoff run. I was very nervous going into it because obviously with the playoff leagues being round robin at the moment, anything can happen really. I think you just really don't know what's going on day to day. But I made it through with no losses actually, which was really good. And I really thought Brommer were going to snatch the victory, but yeah, very happy with my performance and buzzing to be back in Division 1.
And talking of that Brommer game, we can see it now that you had quite a finish there, didn't you? It was all looking a little bit scary for a little bit for you, but managed to come through and get the 3 points.
Yeah, I tell you what, the team that I put out in the first 20 minutes, it just wasn't working. I think we had no shots and Brommer had a couple, and I made a change after 25 minutes, I think, and I actually brought Grayson Singh on, who scored 8 minutes later. And I went back to my old reliable formation. I think I kind of almost did a pep. I overthought the final game and I went for a 3-4-3, which just was not working out. Went back to my trusty 5-2-3, put Grayson Singh on, and yeah, scored 5 minutes later. Lewis Weasley. Um, I was 1-0 down. I don't even remember this. I went 1-0 down. This must have been why I panicked. I went 1-0 down and made some changes after 25 minutes and yeah, worked a treat, and second half Victor Pace came out, scored a lovely goal. And from then on I was smooth sailing. I thought this is easily my game. Went defensive, and then Ernest Adams scored in the 90th minute. And there was 4 minutes of added time, and I really just thought it would be very Newcastle to concede again. And the fans were getting very nervous in the ground, but we held on and got that Division 1 back in our grasp.
Victor Pace doing it where it matters again.
Yeah, Victor Pace. Oh, what a player! We'll have a look at his stats throughout the season, but honestly, unreal player.
And here he is, the man himself was just on an absolute tear for you the whole season, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. He's the only reason I was up there, to be honest. He was the focal point of the attack, and he really came up when it mattered in the playoffs. I really thought he was going to win Golden Boot in the league, but he missed out to a player from Wobury Tord. And yeah, in the playoffs, he scored in every single game, which I think is probably pretty unheard of for a round robin playoff league. All 6 games, and he got a brace in one of them. So, literally the reason we're back in Division 1. So, I think we'll be rewarding him with a nice big contract.
The real question is, though, Joey Green or Victor Pace? You can only have one.
Victor Pace all day. Victor Pace came through the Newcastle Academy. Jerry Green was bought for a huge sum of money from High Tuck Albion. And I think High Tuck Albion do take them as their own. We do have the Jerry Green derby, Newcastle versus High Tuck, but as we've been promoted, that won't be happening next season. But hopefully High Tuck can get back and we can get the Jerry Green derby. But Victor Pace is a better player.
Elsewhere in the playoffs, the great entertainers of Footium this season, Sea Park, the Elephants, managed to get themselves up as well with very, very tight group again here, but they saw it through and they managed to get that vital win at the death to get their promotion sealed.
Yeah, I was impressed with them throughout the playoffs. The only other team to not lose a game. They started with 2-0 nils. I saw the manager's interviews. He was pulling his hair out because he was having a number of shots. But yeah, they got the job done in the end. I think on the final day, every team could have gone up. So it was really all to play for in this league. Yeah, and actually, Wesham Rovers they went 2-0 down, which really made it look like Sea Park were cruising to a victory once they turned their game around. But the Wesham Rovers manager Sudden really turned the game on. 27 shots. I've not really seen that much dominance around, and they managed to bring the goal difference to the point where if Sea Park had conceded, Wesham Rovers would have gone up. So it's very much squeaky bum time for Leroy, the Sea Park manager, but they managed to get the job done.
Yeah, I think 27 shots is probably, if not the highest, one of the highest totals we've seen so far of any game in the beta stage, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I know Wesham Rovers, they were the highest goal scorers in the playoffs. They scored 16 goals in the 6 games, and really entertaining league, actually, this one. But yeah, congratulations to Sea Park.
And another playoffs group here for us to look at. This particular one, not as tight, but still going into the final day, there was everything to play for. Not as many goals, interestingly, here either. Looking at the team these managed to eventually get themselves up, only with the 5 goals over the 6 games, but they still did enough.
Yeah, definitely. This was quite an interesting league, really, because it was almost another playoff final type match between Bromley Wanderers and Eastbrook. But yeah, they got the 1-0 victory. The Bromley manager was I think he called his team Spursy in his post-match manager's interview. So he was clearly very upset with his team's performance. He only needed a draw as well, so you can see why he was disappointed. And elsewhere, we were actually meant to be joined by the Wattle Fam Day, if that's how you pronounce it. Sorry, Josh, if it isn't manager tonight, but he couldn't. He was very embarrassed about his performance during the playoffs, and he was a no-show. But hopefully, we'll get him on next time.
He bottled it.
He did. He
From a
followed the
man that
playoffs and
knows
he
a
bottled
bottle
it.
job, he bottled it.
I'm sure we'll get him on next time, but yeah, he can't have been happy with a 1-0 loss against Fraplish, who had nothing to play for. And to be fair to Fraplish, you've got to give him credit going out there, even though they had nothing to play for, and getting that win, which I'm sure will put him in good stead for next season. Yeah, if you have a look at Wattle Fam Day, they had no shots on target in their final game. To say they could have won if they'd had a good enough goal difference, you wouldn't be happy, would you, Mozza, if that was your team's performance?
No, only the 4 shots tells its own story as well, doesn't it? That's just, especially when it's a game where potentially winning it could see you going up. They've not turned up, unfortunately, for the manager, and no doubt he wasn't too chuffed about it afterwards.
No, definitely not. And I know, no, Josh, he's a very dedicated manager. I know they've got a lot of fans as well. There's been a lot of people watching their games. So wish them all the best next season, and congratulations to Eastbrook, who actually snatched the playoffs to going on a 7 winning streak in the league, which amazing.
So that brings us to the end of the playoff roundup. Any final thoughts from yourself, Sam, be it as a manager who has been successful through them, or just generally and what's happened during it?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed joining you today, Mozza, in the studio. Looking forward to coming back, hopefully. And literally, all I'll say is stick to your game plan. That's all I did. I tried to change it up in the last game, and it didn't work. So just, if it's worked throughout the season, just stick to your game plan. And I'm looking forward to, hopefully, getting 6 points against you next season.
Fighting talk starts already. No,
Yeah,
to be fair, on the tips front, as a man who stuck to the same formation the whole season and won the league, I can't really back
yeah,
that enough.
exactly.
You pick the formation that fits your team, you work on it, you rotate enough, and then you can be the next Pain City. There you go. There's your your
Be
closing
the next
remarks.
Ben City. Yeah.
But no, thank you for watching, folks. I hope this gives you a little taste of what Footium Live will be in the future. And we're very excited about it, having had a wee look around the studio today. So I'm sure Sam will agree that we can't wait to see what comes next.
Very excited. Can't wait for more shows, and I think everyone's going to really love it.